There is so much in this, and I'm so excited about how it turned out. So much folklore. And if you see this tool, that's a Vajra or a Dorje. I could be pronouncing it wrong, to be honest. But this dragon holding that, in my mind, this is George, because they have the original logo, the banner dragon. Banner dragon. Screw the website.
The original dragon?
Yeah, so 1981.
Wow.
You know, and this dragon's got the Vajra in his right hand, and he's got the lightning bolt. Because Vajra also means lightning bolt.
Wow.
And it's this yellow dragon. So the yellow inspired this yellow dragon. And you see that this dragon's all territorial over this block, which is the Powell Corp. Right?
Yep.
It's concrete block. So this pink is like that concrete, but it's fading out. So now it's a vast landscape opposed to the little block. This is how I'm interpreting it.
That's really cool.
So it's like the concrete is now potentially
worldwide.
Infinite. Yeah, everywhere. Right? But that's the dragon. There's the Vajra. And you see this dragon, he looks all mean. Like he's attacking and protecting.
Yeah. He seems threatened, kind of.
Threatened and threatening.
Yep.
Well, this dragon's just playing, bro. He's focused.
He's like, what's up, homie?
He's like, what? You know, he's in the middle of something. You know? It's sick. I don't know if he's landing, if he's taking off, if he's doing a skate trick. Like, he's playing, toying on the fire hydrant. If you know me, you know I love fire hydrants. They're like mushrooms. They're like robotic. They're like early AI. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're like mushrooms. They're all connected underground, just like mushrooms with mycelium webs. And then they pop up to hydrate the land, just like mushrooms with their fruiting body. It's beautiful. I love fire hydrants. And luckily, Court, the artist, is also in love with fire hydrants. A lot of his art outside of Powell has fire hydrants in it. So Rick from Etnies designed this logo for me. And it is 2 hearts, and it's 2 ampersands. Ampersand. And yeah, that's kind of my thing. And it's in the round triangle. So this is going to be on my shoe, surrounded by the Etnies wings. And it's like, this is my signature, or my initials rather. So, boom, there it is incorporated in the flight logo. Thank you, Rick, for making that with me.
So sick.
And then, I don't know if you've heard the folklore. We got Papa Heron. We got Mama Heron. They got together and they laid an egg. You can see the egg is like the two of them together, kind of. And then the egg hatched, and out came what I call the Vajra, but the baby heron, technically, I guess. And this is the baby heron graphic. So you have the 2 and herons. So we got the and heron here. This is its second appearance. Got 2 and herons making a heart, just like how my 2 ampersands make 2 hearts. And there's a little baby heron inside.
That's so sick.
So that in itself is the baby heron graphic, part of the Vajra graphic.
Dang, that's so sick. You've had that one a long time.
Yeah. Okay, what else is going on here? We got my signature, which is rarely seen with the full Anderson after it. Inspired by Kevin Harris's board with his signature.
Oh, that's dope.
Right?
Yeah.
The Kevin board. And this blue was actually what got us to that blue.
Sick.
This is like one of the original navies that they used way back in the day.
That's dope.
And then you see the same VCJ signature, Vernon Court Johnson. It's right there next to the hydrant.
Yep. I love his signature.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
It's amazing.
There's one thing I didn't say yet.
What's that?
This is a weird thing to say, so I'm gonna go like this, blah, and that lets you know.
This is coming from the heart.
Well, it's like I don't know if it's good or bad to make public knowledge, but the egg is kind of like this board. The egg was one that I approved, and then a month into staring and skating, I went, no, I have all these other ideas.
I was there for that phone call too. I heard you talking to George.
I was so stressed.
Yeah, and I heard George like, dude, but we made all these. Like, we gotta sell them, dude.
Yeah. I'm so glad the egg came out.
Yeah.
Because if it didn't, it would be way more likely that this would be the Dorja.
Yeah, and a lot of people love the egg.
Yeah,
So.
the egg is such a good board. It's just didn't have the lines that I was searching for.
Yeah.
Which I'll explain another time.
You're really into evolution and always growing. So, you know, this board is going to be your board for however long it is, but you're already going to start improving on it.
I really don't think I am.
Really?
Yeah, I think this journey since the Olympics has been to this board.
I'm excited to see what happens in your future then.
I think there's more boards to come, but I think they're going to be variations of this, maybe in different sizes.
Got you.
But I'm not trying to reshape anything for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, this is done.
Cool.
So if it happened exactly how I imagined in my head, it would be the Heron, and then this would be the second board.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen like that. And without the egg coming out, we wouldn't have been lined up for the concave, and we wouldn't have been lined up for the glitter.
Exactly.
We got the glitter, bro. Powell just started doing glitter boards, like, or metal flake, I should say. Like, just.
Is this the first board with it?
No, Sakura's got a board out with it now.
Oh, sick.
And this is George's son, Ari.
That's so rad.
Who's working on all this. It's so sick, dude.
So sick.
I love how that Powell screen prints their graphics onto heat transfers. So you get all the layers, you can really feel.
Yeah, it feels like it's like embossed.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Because it's literally layers on layers on layers.
Yep.
Oh, man. And then
rad.
the moon, that's not Court, that's Billy. So Billy does the coloring and all of this.
Well,
and
Billy hit a freaking home run with this because that coloring is amazing.
And he did the shadow, dude. Look at that shadow.
Yeah.
So it is a directional graphic on a symmetrical board. So I put the flight logos upside down so you never fully feel backwards.
Good job, Billy.
Dude, so good.
Killing
Billy
it.
Nailed it. So that's a lot of the info right there, you know? You can see there's a lot going on. We got the Powell logo. We got the Baby Heron logo, which is also kind of my signature. We got my initials. We got my signature. We got Court's signature. We got Billy's shadow. Billy's coloring and Court's wonderful art.
Amazing design.
I'm going to start setting this up because I got more to say.
Let's do it, but we can do that at the same time.
Right.
Word. Yeah, I think this is my favorite graphic, dude.
Dude, it's so good. And go on.
I've always been a big Dragon fan, so that's obviously why.
Dude, I've always been a big Dragon guy, and I always wanted, like, my Dragon, like how Cab has it.
Yeah.
But the truth is, I'm not a Dragon. I started skating the year of the Dragon, but this isn't me. It's George.
Yeah.
This is me. You know what I mean?
I love that. That's awesome.
So this is me, and then this is Powell. This represents Powell. And the full moon is all the nights I stayed up till fucking 5 a.m. just staring at all these boards, dude. Like, I'm a night owl.
Driving yourself crazy.
I was going crazy, dude.
Yeah, Andy was driving himself so crazy that we had to like figure it out because there were days we were supposed to skate or do something. He's like, Nige, I can barely think right now. I'm like, what is going on? Like,
dude, it was like health crisis crazy.
Yeah, so we're pretty sure we got it figured out.
To the point where, like, I live in Venice. There's a lot of crazy people around. And I would see people going through, like, episodes on the street. And I could just be like, I got you, man.
I can relate.
Yeah, I can relate. I can hella relate. Because it's just, like, I don't know. You start walking in circles and tapping things and just, like...
It's the worst when you feel weird too and you're not exactly sure why.
Yeah.
That is the worst.
Oh my god, yeah.
Because you're like, wait, I'm doing everything right, I think. Why do I feel strange?
Yeah. And it's like, oh, because I was up till 5 a.m. thinking.
Every night for the last month.
Dude. That's one thing I learned at the Olympics was if I fell asleep listening to a book or something, I would wake up so stressed.
Because your brain never shut down.
Right. Like some people can fall asleep with TV on. I'm not that person.
Yeah, we've roomed together a lot of times, and I've always noticed how you sleep. You kind of always sleep on your back.
Yeah.
And you barely move at all.
Yeah, I never move.
You know what I mean? With me, I'm the opposite. Like, I am one of those people who can sleep with the TV on, and I wake up off and on the whole night, but I dream really deep. So I think that's kind of how my brain is shutting down in those quick moments, like all the way, you know, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
So pretty trippy.
And when you fall asleep and wake back up, it enhances your dreams a lot.
It does, dude.
Yeah.
Big time.
If you can wake up at like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. if you're not falling asleep at that time.
Yeah.
And stay up for like 2 to 5 minutes, you're gonna
go back to some really fun or crazy times.
Yeah.
Depending on where you are mentally.
But it's funny, like the space mentally where I am, where I'm creating this stuff, is the same space when I'm anxious. It's the same space when I feel like I'm going crazy. You know, when I was a kid, I always thought I was losing my mind a little bit. But I think it's because it's in that place. It's like when you go like this, you're like, oh, remember 4th grade where... And you're looking here, but you're seeing your classroom, and that's the space I'm kind of talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Because people think they can't relate, and it's like, no, you can relate. It's just how I describe it sounds more weird than maybe it is. But he's just like there. But instead of going into a memory, you go into a future place.
Yeah, like a design or something.
Yeah, like world of forms.
Yeah. And function.
Yeah. Oh man, it's such a cool place, but it's dangerous to linger there for too long.
Yeah, because I think it's dangerous to linger in any state of mind for too long.
I think you're right about that, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's good to have a variety and stay in this state of mind for a while, stay in this state, you know, like a creative state, like a daydream state, which is my personal favorite, when I can just be staring off into space and thinking nothing. And it's really trippy because a lot of the times when I reach that state, which I'm able to do pretty often now, people always will interrupt it and be like, what are you thinking about? And I'll tell them nothing and they don't believe me.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, no, I can finally get my mind to just shut up and I can just zone out on the sky.
Yeah, it's you've always been able, like the whole time I've known you, you've been able to tap into some really hard to get to places so casually that it's not like that believable unless you know you.
Yeah, and how hard I've worked to get there. You know, I've spent a lot of time studying and meditating and getting there.
Yeah, for real.
That's what's cool though, is that if you treat meditating and states of mind or forms of consciousness like a skate trick, then it's easy to do. Or it's not easy to do, but you'll eventually get it. Yeah, you know what I mean?
I know what you're saying, because when I'm teaching someone how to skate, let's say they play hockey or something, if they're really struggling, I go, think of it like how you would stand for a slap shot.
Yeah.
And they immediately get into the right position.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, you already know this, but since it's a new activity, you think it's something else.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is happening when we relate it to skateboarding. We know it so well that we can, like, tap into that focus and stuff.
And skateboarding's so hard to do and to learn that it's like when you make those correlations to something that's also super hard to do, it gives you like like you know you can do it. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's
You know
like
what I mean?
when you're trying a trick by yourself
Mm-hmm.
and it's taking 100 tries
Yeah.
versus when you're trying a trick with someone else and it's taking them 100 tries too.
Yeah.
You don't feel so bad.
No, you don't feel so bad. And then you're also seeing what they're messing up on, and they're seeing what you're messing up on. So if you stop and have a dialogue real quick, you can help each other out.
Straight up.
You know?
Yeah, for real.
Like big time, dude. Dang. I'm very excited to have, because I have all the stuff over here. I'm going to set up a whole new complete of Andy's, all of his stuff he's skating right now, so that I can skate it and film some tricks, but then also I'm going to bring it around with me and have a whole bunch of people skate it. So I just thought of the idea last night. I hit up George this morning. He's like, yep, sending him out, Nige. I was like, yes. And he's going out of town for a bit, so I'm pretty hyped he is able to do this video so that we can put out that the graphic is finished.
It's finished.
And it looks beautiful, dude.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, man. When I first saw it, because I saw the black and white drawings of this probably about 6 months ago, and I was like, oh my god, that's going to be so dope. So I was super excited because Andy's board with a really sick dragon is way up my alley. Like, especially gold dragons. I've always really loved gold dragons.
Yeah, and I've always been, in fact, like, I love dragons so much, but I didn't like how they were so commonly represented as protectors or like hoarders, really. Like there's a dragon to slay.
Yeah, it depends on where the mythology comes from. You know what I mean? Like if it comes from the East, dragons are very wise and like more like this dragon. You know, like look at him. He's obviously a thinker.
Yeah, he's thinking, dude.
But if it's like medieval times, then it's more like that dragon. You know?
Like some people have seen this, out of the few people that have seen this,
mm-hmm.
and they're like, it just looks too tame. And I'm like, that's the point.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be some evil freaking thing. It's supposed to be like beautiful and fun.
The wise dragon. That's a dragon you want in your corner. The one that's gonna help you. And not come and burn your house down and freaking destroy your house and eat your relatives.
Right? I used to be all about slaying dragons, now I'm all about taming them.
That's a beautiful way to think about it, you know?
Yeah. It's like, it's not about slaying the dragon. It's about learning it. I just figured out this method. I probably figured it out a million times before, but of lining up.
How to do it just right?
Yeah, because these are 14.5-inch rails, and I got 14.25 wheelbase.
Andy's very precise with all this stuff. Me, I got some rails for my board. I'm just gonna slap them on there.
It's funny because, like, when I designed the Heron, the very first board, there was little to no knowledge of concave, tail and nose length. Like, it was all just up to the universe, and the universe provided. It's, like, all perfect dimensions.
Yeah.
So now, when it came to this one, I was stressing so hard about nose length and stuff because I didn't really have an opinion before. And now I do. So this nose and tail are the same length as the original Heron. So if you've been riding the original Heron, this board's going to feel super different because of it's way smaller and skinnier.
Yeah.
But the pop feels kind of similar.
Sick.
So it's really comforting like that.
That's pretty rad. Considering it's a new concave and new shape, or new bigger size tail. Is the nose the same, or about the same size?
Yeah, nose and tail are the same length.
As the old one?
Old one, nose and tail are same length as well.
They are?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah, because it's square, the tail looks bigger.
Oh.
Because it doesn't go like this, it's like that.
Yeah.
So it looks bigger, but they weigh the same, and yeah.
Crazy.
Oh man, I love this. And then the rail covers the Anderson, but not the Andy, so I still have my signature there.
Sick.
So this is my first time putting rails on this graphic.
It's your first time setting this board up with the graphic, period.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is pretty amazing, actually.
When I hold this board in my right hand, I kind of feel like the dragon holding the Vajra, bro.
Oh yeah.
So sick, dude. I can't believe it exists.
Third board for Powell, dude. Powell Peralta.
Dude, the trilogy. The trilogy is complete.
Right?
Right? Just like the first board had multiple sizes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't 2 boards. It was 1 board, multiple sizes.
Yep.
So that might happen with this, but this is what I'm skating, bro.
That's so sick.
And what's so cool about this too is this first board is magic. But you know what? It's too big for a lot of guys to experience that magic. They have to get used to the size before they can experience the magic.
Yep.
This board is the size that you kind of already ride. And I'll explain that right now. Check this out. So, I don't know what, because they measured a little differently. I don't know what their stats are, but in my mind, right across the middle, 8.5. And right here, it's 8 1/8, which is 8.1875.
Barely bigger than 8.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's 8.1875. So almost 8.2. It's 8.5. 7-inch nose, 7-inch tail. Bam. Bam!
So sick.
And then one really cool stat about it. Think about how much narrower and smaller this board is than the egg. Here's an egg next to it. This board, those lines are kind of confusing.
Yeah.
This board literally fits inside the egg. I got another story.
What's up?
So, this graphic, Court asked me, what's your spirit animal and what do you want to be your graphic? And I said, my spirit animal is a blue heron and I want my graphic to be a skeleton holding a sword riding a dragon. So I got some blue herons and a skull. It was nothing that I asked for. But it's perfect. And I'm glad I didn't get what I asked for.
That's pretty funny.
This new graphic, Court asked me, what do you want? Send me a thumb sketch. So I was like, I want these 2 herons locking feet, like how eagles do when they fight or mate. I can't remember, maybe both. And they spiral down together.
Yeah.
So it's symmetrical. And it was going to be super hard to draw and all that stuff. So weeks later I called Court and I was like, hey, I don't know where you are with that graphic, but I just want to let you know I trust your art. Like, the first graphic was nothing like what I asked for, and it ended up so much better than if you gave me what I asked for.
Yeah.
So I just want to let you know, above all, I have full confidence in you to do whatever, and don't be swayed by my little ideas of what I think I want.
Yep.
And upon saying that, he said, you know what? George made me draw a graphic for you like a year ago, right around the release of your egg, that didn't get used because it wasn't symmetrical. What do you think about that one? And I said, what one? I've never seen it. So he sent it to me, and it was this graphic.
Yeah, it was the first renditions of it, the black and white.
Yeah, and it was already a year old.
Wow.
So that just goes to show, like, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of secrets in life. And one of the biggest secrets is that you can do anything that's like realistic.
Yep.
Like anything you can imagine
It's possible.
is possible. And that's a really important lesson to learn. But it's not the final lesson. Because once you get what you want, you realize you're not very good at knowing exactly what you want. So that's the next thing, is learning to listen to what you should want or should have. I don't know if want's the right word, but like, and that happened a lot with this. I want these dimples like that, and then I get them and they're way off, but it's better.
Yep.
You know, and it's like not being dead set on what I think I want and accepting that, you know what, sometimes you get given better things. without even knowing it.
Being flexible.
And just like this tail being a little too short, I didn't know it was a little too short until, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was exactly what I asked for. In fact, it was longer than what I asked for. And then I ended up finalizing it even longer. One thing I noticed today was this shape of the heron skull is the same shape as the dragon head.
It is!
Yeah. So you can see that transfer from Court's art style.
It's got like a diamond thing going on.
Yeah. And if you actually measure it out, it's like it fits in a perfect diamond from there to there to there to there to there. So you can make patterns with it and stuff.
That's so sick.
Oh, man.
I love Quartz art.
And they all have red eyes. I love the red eyes because it's like, that's my focus. That's how I think of it.
Laser focus.
Laser focus, exactly. Oh my god. And I love that when I look at this, it doesn't look upside down. So we talked about the graphic. We talked about the shape, but now I'm going to show you how it works. So check this out. Your skate and bowl. Boom, you're ready. 8.5, where your feet are. You're in there, you're stoked. Want to grab? You catch that spot. You don't want to do a lean air? Grab right there. Boom. Take your lean air. Boom.
Tweet.
You know, backside judo. All these spots are so nice for the grabs.
Seems like it'd make it a lot easier.
And you know what to do, and you have a reference point, so you can do it consistently. When there's no reference points, sometimes your hand's in a little different spot, and you know how particular we can be about our 1/8 of an inch. So it's nice to have reference points. But check this out. This dimple is not just a reference point for grabbing. It is an anti-roll technology. So when you pop the tail, it rolls until the corner and then it folds. And that fold, you draw a line from the wheel to the corner, pop anywhere over here.
It's to help initiate the flip.
Yeah, it has that power. So whether or not you pop with the ball of your toe or the tip of your toe or whatever,
You focus the energy in that direction.
yeah, and you get those. You get those.
I'm really excited to set my complete up and try hard flips.
Dude,
I think it's going to help a lot.
yeah. So like a Muska flip where it goes super vertical is when you do a hard flip or frontside flip, and you pop in this space, so it goes like that, and then you flick the frontside flip, and it bounces out vertical.
Yeah.
But if you want to do an Andrew Reynolds frontside flip or a Tom Penny frontside flip, you don't pop from here, you pop from the center or maybe even over here.
Yeah.
And you're pushing it like that. And then when you flick, it's sideways.
Makes it go sideways.
So it's where you're popping from that moves the board around. And having these like regions, you know, I'm not saying pop here, I'm saying if you pop here, this will happen. And that allows you to make your own calculations based on what you want to do.
For your preferences.
For your preferences.
Yep.
So then, that's the popping, right? So I could do this. That's like super flippy pop.
Yep.
Now if I put the tail down, let's put it there. Oh, that was an awful line. This triangle here,
Super solid pop.
super solid pop. If you want to do a pop shove, you pop from in there, and boom. No flip.
Yep.
It's flat as can be.
I love that design aspect of it. That's why I'm pretty excited to set my complete up.
Yeah, that is the line. The egg has that stable pop, but it doesn't have the super flippy pop. It has flippy, but not super flippy.
Yeah.
So that's what this has. Bam, stable, and then these triangles that are made are like slight tweaks in the pop, so you can do. So there's that.
Gotcha.
What's your front foot doing? Because the pop is only this. Then you need the front foot to level it out or to flip it. So we have these wings placed perfectly to line up with these wings. No, I'm just playing. But they're placed so that they're high enough that you can have your foot in the center, in the skinny part, and comfortably set up for pretty much any trick. So if I'm going for a kick flip, I can set up in the skinny and I flick out of the nose or right here. It's just all available.
Yep. All the real estate.
Yeah, and this part not only comes out, it also comes up because of the concave.
Yeah.
So when you move your foot off the side, it initiates the flip earlier.
Gotcha.
So that works for heel flip, any flip trick, really, even ollies. It's just nice. And again, these reference points for grabs, they're reference points for your footing. So you can learn the board and learn where you want your foot. On the tail,
a whole lot of science going on in this board.
You can learn this. You can learn how it feels for you, for your tricks. From the pressure pocket, like that, and then flick off this wing, that's a tray flip. Let me just show you one.
Damn, for stand still, that was pretty effortless.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do another one to stomp it. Oh, come on.
Stand still trays are one of the hardest tricks.
Keep falling forward. Anyways, for varial flip, same thing, except for I'm popping in front of here, you pop from the pop shove it spot.
Yeah.
And that gives it less whipper out.
Woo!
But just to show you, varial heels are coming off of this wing.
Yep.
And my front foot is in, or my back foot is in this upside down triangle where there's a little bit of tilt.
Yeah.
My landings aren't on, but my flipping is perfect.
Yeah, perfect. It's okay, you're not even warmed up. You're doing standstill flat grind, which is some of the hardest crap you can do. Rad.
User error still included. Okay, this is a board for you to learn, and there's a lot of magic lines.
A ton.
For you to find. Have fun. I'm
Good.
so excited with this board, dude. Oh my god, these I-beams are perfect. Look at these. So, for dark slides, I slide between here and here.
Yeah.
That little up gives me a little bit of a lip.
Yeah.
Just like when you're in board slide, you hit the truck.
Yeah.
So, when you dark slide, it takes off a little bit of grip.
Yeah.
But not too much. And you need a sharp metal thing, like this I-beam. So whenever I get a brand new board, I take it to an I-beam, or a street sign works really well.
Oh, I see.
And
so it takes the grip off, so when you do a dark slide, you're not sliding on grip there.
Yeah, otherwise the first 10 dark slides suck.
Yeah. If you guys want any dark slides with this board, find something similar.
I love the little things you discover when you make mistakes. And one of the things that this is good for, that I didn't design it for, is crooked grinds. To know exactly where to lock in. And if
You can feel it, I imagine.
you can feel it for sure, and you can see it. So you know that when you lock into this side of your truck, it's coming out there. So you can put your foot there. Like, it helps a lot to see it, at least for me. And then what's crazy is when you pop, this eventually wears down. But if you want to put it back, you just gotta do some crooked grinds.
And it'll just come back.
It comes back. The pressure pocket comes back, man. So if you got like some rough rail, you just be like, and you get your whole pressure pocket back.
Yeah.
But it works like that for like crooks or even front crooks on the other side.
We gotta show some front crooks then.
Oh man, I'll do one right here.
Get it.
So, I did a pressure flip, a frontside pressure flip, an inward heel flip, and a hard flip. And the reason is those are kind of opposites. Pressure flip and inward heel flip flip the same way, but how you flip it is totally different. For a pressure flip, you flick it from this side and it goes that way, like that. But for inward heel, the board does the same thing, but I'm trying to flip it with my front foot that way. So I gotta pop it on this side to make the wall. And then I flip it with this foot for it to spin. So for the pressure flip, my foot's in this pocket. For the inward heel, my foot's not all the way in this pocket, but it's on this side to give me that wall to flick.
To hit it.
This opposite and same is true for the frontside pressure flip and the hard flip. Frontside pressure flip, I pop from here because it makes my board flip that way. Because my front foot isn't gonna flick it.
You can already see it happening just by doing that. That's crazy.
But then with the hard flip, my foot is way more over here, pushing it this way, so that my front foot can grab it to flick it.
Yeah, I'm really glad.
I don't know, like everything I said was true, but I don't know if you understand it.
I think they will from that.
Well, because there's the visuals too.
Yeah.
Okay, the Primo curve. The Primo curve, man. It doesn't necessarily help with these so much. It does make these easier. But that's not what it's designed for. It's designed for this flip. It's very particular when it goes this way. The common Primo flip is this way. The one I'm talking about is this way.
Got you.
So I'm gonna show you what that looks like.
All one motion, right?
Yeah, check it out. I'm gonna land right there. Oh, that jump, that jump.
Damn! Chilling.
Dude, so that curve is where I could do this trick. You see me do this one a lot.
Super easy, huh?
Or even up to truck. So I like to do those tricks and just know that I can do it.
Yep.
And that curve is what gives me that confidence. So I'm gonna get some slow motion shots of the multiple different ways to flick that way of flicking.
Perfect.
Little sketchy, one more. Okay, that's the board. That's the gist of it. There's going to be more videos explaining more in the future, but like, I hope you get a sense of what I put into this, and I hope that you feel it when you ride it. And tell your local shops that will pre-order these in, you know, because if they don't order them, your shop's not going to have them. And chances are your shop hasn't heard of this board yet, so this is fresh, dude. I got it yesterday. Woohoo! Look at that, dude. We got that glimmer, bro.
There we go, dude.
I couldn't be happier. I can't think of a thing to change. I wouldn't move this a millimeter. I wouldn't move that a millimeter. Wouldn't move that a millimeter. Wouldn't move that a millimeter. I wouldn't make that a millimeter.
I can't wait to try it.
Dude, I can't wait for you to try it.
I know you've been telling me that.
You to try it.
I know, dude. Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
these guys.
Yeah, these guys, dude. When they try it, I hope that you try it and you're like, oh, I know what to look for because he told me. Otherwise, you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
But,
Word. Good shit, dude.
dude!
Woo!
I'm gonna go pack for Germany. Welcome to my office. This is where all the magic happens. And I'm just way too excited about this new board. Been working on it for way too long. And it's done. It's so done.
Finally.
Graphics done. The sizing's done. And I want to give you guys some insight on the whole process. What we started with, what we went through, and where we got to. So many nights just like I'd line up all the boards on that wall and lay in bed and stare at them and they start speaking and I'm like, oh crap. Or like this, I put all the grip tapes of the new shapes up. So I don't know if you can tell, but that's like an egg and then kind of where we were going, and I still haven't put the grip of the final up, so we're gonna do that in this video.
Awesome.
But it's amazing how some of the nights I'll just be staring at this, right? And you see these like slight alterations of where the hips are. And like, you know, for this one, these were super loud, but for this one, the center was super loud and different things. And it, like a lot of the ideas that came to me were staring at this or staring at the boards all lined up, as you can see there. Got all my boards freaking.
It's a really smart way to do it, Andy.
Thanks, man. It helps get all the shapes into my subconscious, and then I can figure out things that I couldn't figure out if I was trying to.
Yep.
But yeah, this is kind of it right here. So we got the heron, which was doubled with mama heron. So this is the 7-ply version, but I actually gave this board to Val, so this is Val's old board. And it's really funny how similar the new shape is to this size
That one.
of the Mama Heron, yeah.
Oh, wow.
They're almost the exact same size. Same wheelbase and really similar width. But this board is the magic board. This board taught me everything. And, you know, you could see a lot of that early inspiration. I'd already been thinking about symmetry because the board is perfectly weighted. And the idea was that some people would skate it that way and some people would skate it this way. Most people just skate it the original way, but there was a few outliers I would see skating it backwards.
Interesting.
And that made me really happy because the nose and tail are the same length, so that's possible. What I didn't know until recently is that by moving these, it can make kickflips easier or harder. Which I also didn't know is it getting wider makes kickflips easier, or tray flips, because that's kind of the theory that I'm using. Same board, different size. And this one was actually scaled down by George. So I designed this board and George designed this board off of these sketches.
Interesting.
Because when we first made this one, there was like no real hope that it was gonna sell. And it ended up selling really well. But George wanted a regular size board in the market because he thought that more people would want this. But the sales were actually pretty 50-50 split.
Really?
Yeah, so thanks George for pushing me to do that and designing this one so freaking well. So you can see the lines are almost identical. So we just shortened that.
Yep.
And that. So the curves are the same. Then, what happened was I was skating this board from before I was even on Powell. I was skating this shape. Something extremely similar, at least. And, well, I made a life decision to start going towards the Olympics. The Olympics became an option, and the same day I heard that it was an option, I was like, I need to move towards that, and I need a trainer, who ended up being Sean Hayes. He was down to help. I was a lost cause at that point. I had no idea what exercise or eating healthy was. And now I care a lot about those things. And thank you, Sean, for teaching me how to take care of myself and how to prepare for big events and big situations. After the Olympics, after I qualified and all that, I needed something different because I had been riding the exact same setup. Not just the same deck, but the same grip tape, the same wheels, the same everything. And I wanted to experiment with something smaller because I was thinking maybe I'd go for a street Olympics. And if I'm gonna focus on street Olympics, it'd be better to have a smaller board. So I pushed myself to get a smaller board, which was the egg. This is the egg. This is one of the first eggs. This is the one I rode in Tampa. It turned a lot of people off because they thought I was riding a popsicle stick board when I was selling my hair. And I was like, no, but you gotta deal with that. That's why it doesn't have the graphic on it. It has the original graphic because this graphic didn't exist yet. This board was given to me and by Alex, and it was given to me at Tampa this year. So that's a brand new egg.
That's so sick.
Freaking love it. He did the grip art on it. It's a Mueller, favorite hydrants.
And a lot of people like that shape, so
Yeah,
pretty cool.
it's a really good shape. The only reason I moved on from this shape is because I had these lines in my head for what I wanted the skateboard to do, and this board is so good, but didn't offer me the lines that I was seeing. And I'll have to explain that another time. But this board has the lines in the tail, which is the pressure points there and there. And that makes it pop and flick so beautifully. So I was trying to figure out how to get that in a more rounded tail. And then this was my first attempt. So it's the egg exactly, except for with more of a tail like this. So right here we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different shapes on the way to the one, but there actually was about 9. But
About 9 different versions.
Yeah, 9 or 10.
Wow.
And they're all really slight. Like, so this one was the first departure from the egg with some of the lines, as you can see, that I'm trying to like still figure out. I knew they had to be there. I didn't know exactly what they looked like. So then I'm going, okay, we gotta move away from this rail, but it can't be straight. Straight rails are lame. So I thought with the tapering nose, if it's skinnier here, maybe it'll work better or something. This was really just an experiment to bring these in. And then when I tried it and did the R&D on it, it was so good. It was so good. I was so shocked on how good it was for tray flips, varial heels, varial flips, just all the rotational flip tricks. And I was like, okay, really struck gold. That was sick. At this stage, it's still the exact size of the egg. But you can see how close I got just on the second or third try. First try, had this. Second try, got rid of that, but had this. But put that and this together, and we're almost there.
Yeah.
So it was
real close.
Really close from the beginning. And then George threw me in a loop, and he sent me one of these, which looks almost identical, but it's narrower. And I didn't think I wanted it narrower, but he sent me in like an 8.4, and I was like, oh my god, this is crazy narrow. Like it's not crazy narrow, it's crazy when it's narrow. Like, it's so nice. It was flipping really good.
Yeah.
But when it got narrower, it looked too long. And at this point, I was starting to feel like the egg could be shorter. And really what I'm saying by that is the kick distance. The distance between when the kick starts. So when you pop, how far you need to reach your legs in order to flick off the nose. So I wanted that to start shrinking. If it was going to get skinnier, it had to get shorter.
Mm-hmm.
So we started getting shorter ones. I got a couple shorter eggs too. That was really fun to experiment with. And then here, this one was the first one where I was like, it's done, except for this part. The curve is wrong. It's just way too straight, so the Primo flips do not work.
Doesn't roll over.
Doesn't roll over on this one. It looks so similar to the finished curve, but you can see in comparison with this board,
Oh, wow.
the curve's not identical. So we needed this curve.
Yeah.
But it's funny because this curve was already there, but affecting this affected that. So that's why it takes so many iterations, is sometimes you fix one thing and then you move on to the next.
And
but
it
then
messes it up.
It messes up the first thing. So now you got the second thing dialed. So I had to really learn to like not check off the boxes and then throw it away. I
Yeah.
have to check off the boxes and then make sure the next one has those same boxes checked.
Got you.
And that was like a learning curve for me in the design process. But that was really close. But what was funny about this one was the drawings had a way deeper cut than this. But I was satisfied with it. So then the next ones we got, they fixed it so that the deeper cuts were more identical to the drawings. And I was like, that's way too deep. That is way too deep. That is way too deep. Make it more like this. But then when I skated it, the deeper ones worked so much better than this one. So much better. Like, so I was like, oh my God, thank God for this mistake. So first mistake was George sending me the skinnier one, which made me go shorter, which makes it more comfortable. Goes from a 14.5 wheelbase to 14.25. 14.25 is normal.
Yeah. And
then the second mistake is that these were way too straight in comparison to the drawing. And then the third mistake is that I thought that the way straight was good, and the drawing was actually better. So like there's a lot of these little mistakes that happened that actually improved the whole process. Then on this one even, we're still using the exact same press and concave and kick distance and everything as the egg board. So this is really close to release. The only difference is I want to change that. And then when I got that changed, this was different, and I was like, what the hell? So, but what ended up happening was we started experimenting with new concaves for the first time in a decade for Powell.
In a decade.
That they were working on new concaves. So this is the first one that I got. This is what I was riding in Copenhagen. That has the new concave on it, which was way too flat. So it was actually really bendy. But I loved the way it skated, and I loved all the improvements. There was a lot wrong with it, but there was a lot right with it. The kick distance was way shorter, and like this dip was shorter. Like, this is a huge improvement for this size board. Let me reframe that. Like, with the egg, it's a 14.5 wheelbase. With this board, it's a 14.25. So the kick should be closer.
Yeah.
Because the wheelbase is changing. So this is nice. Now we have a concave designed for this size. The egg concave was designed for the egg size. So it's nice that all these things lined up right in time to lead me to, well, actually this one. So this one is everything I approved. It's the right width here, it's the right width here. It's got the right curve, it's got the dimple, this is the right distance, the hip is in the right place. So I approved it. This marked all my boxes.
Yep.
But the only thing that I had wrong with this one was I had false information in my head about the standard lengths of noses and tails. So when you make a symmetrical board, you have to decide, is it going to be 2 noses or 2 tails, or 2 of something in between? An average tail and an average nose, a tail is usually 6.75 and a nose is usually around 7. Like if you get a shop deck, right? So I didn't know that. I thought it was 6.6 and 6.8. But part of that has to do with how you measure. So I measure like this, from here down and on the curve. So right there, it's 1/8 short of 7. Because you measure to the center of these holes.
Gotcha.
Okay? But usually companies measure like this, where it's flat out.
Oh.
So that would make it a 1/4 inch shorter than 7. So my measurements are always like this.
Press down.
Press down. Cut.
Gotcha.
Cut. So I approved this board, and I had them all lined up against the wall, and I skated one. This is actually the same model that we did at the camp.
Got you.
So I skated that one at the camp until it was absolutely shredded. And I kept looking at other people's boards, kept looking at their noses, going, maybe that nose is a little longer than mine. So I got my tape measure and I went down to the local skate shop and I started measuring all these boards. I need to know for myself, measure them the same way. And I realized that noses were longer than I thought they were. And this right now is longer than the average tail, but it's a long tail. You can find boards with tails this long.
Yeah.
And you'll rarely find a board with a nose this short, but it exists. But like really rare. So that's what I initially wanted, but after some more research, I realized I wanted it the length of a regular nose. And I'll tell you why right now. So this one, the tail and nose, the toes, are the length of a regular nose. This is exactly the same as this board, except for this flat spot right here was extended 1/8 of an inch. So I wanted to make this longer by 1/8 of an inch, and George sent out the email, okay, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna make this curve longer and then we toy with all this and make this smaller? Or can we add it right there? So for me, that was like a life-saving email, because I was gonna go on the phone and try to figure out how to make this longer, and then we have to readjust all of that, even though I already know it's dialed in. And why wouldn't we do this? Why wouldn't we move that? Because this curve is so properly placed for my primos. But I realized when we do a normal primo, usually it was measured from the axle, but now I have nanocubics. So my new primo spot is out here, and that's just a little more than, like, that's more than 1/8 of an inch.
Yeah.
Which means I could move that 1/8 of an inch and it wouldn't affect my primos. There's so much information here. But that's the ticket. And then what that also did was it made my nose a little bit wider, a little bit more full.
Yeah.
Opposed to making it just longer and narrow and just as narrow. So now if you measure this one, it's 7. Right on the money. Psh, right in the center of the hole. Boom! Perfect. 7 nose, 7 tail, 7 toes. 7 toes. Man. So what I love about this is, check this out. So this curve, if you follow that, like, it whips up here, but if you don't whip up and you follow that curve, that is the length of a regular tail.
Interesting.
Here, where is it? 675? Right there. Right? You see that distance?
Yep.
So when you wear this down, you get a regular tail.
It'll turn into a normal tail.
Yeah, so if you ride it directionally, you'll end up with a tail and nose.
Yep.
And if you don't, then here, check this out. This is the one at the camp.
You skated it that long, dude. That's crazy for you.
It's the one at the camp. And you can see how it wears into somewhat of a rounded tail.
Yeah, like a normal nose and tail.
But it's an illusion, because when you look at the bottom, you see all the wear is still mainly on that.
In those areas.
Yeah, so
Like
you're
not over here, really.
No, yeah, not over there. And even when it is over there, it's on like kind of a different angle.
Yeah.
So that shows that even after it's rounded like that, you're still benefiting from this.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's sick. Look at that. So if you ride it directionally, that'll be your tail, and then you have the full nose still.
Yep.
Which is dope.
I think that's really dope.
And then, like, if you ride your trucks, like, one tight, one loose, you just ride it one way until your tail's perfect, and then ride it the other way.
Yep.
Like, insane.
Chillin'.
And with the longer tail, it makes it a little bit lower of a kick angle. So a longer tail makes it more like that, or like that, which makes that you don't have to lift up your foot as high for the kick flips and stuff.
Yeah. So
it's actually like more effortless. And when you see people put their back foot, I'm just gonna go with this, blah, because I've noticed in a lot of these videos, I'm like attacking the viewer.
Yeah.
And how they skate.
Mm-hmm.
Because really what I'm doing is I'm talking to myself.
Yeah.
And I'm using you as the person that I'm talking to, but it's really me talking to myself. When I say, you're a beginner if you kickflip here. That's me thinking in my head about my skating. Don't take it personally. I have to learn how to word my things more effectively.
You're getting good though, bro.
That being said, I forgot what I was talking about.
Well, in that note, I'll let you give some time to think, but I'm excited to set up a complete and take one of these new boards out and skate it with some friends. So
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think most people will notice the difference of the 8th. So these are going to be great to send out to people.
Yeah.
And it's so sick, dude.
So sick.
So this is, 7J. 7I, 7J. What letters J? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. 10.
Damn.
So that's the 10th iteration.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That's pretty trippy.
It's super